Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new series here on my channel. We are going to be doing the 2017 career mode here.
And now I know what you're thinking, of course. Why is this man, out of every single F1 game possible, he has chosen F1 2017? Well, simply what I was doing was I was scrolling the Steam store as you do, just checking out the games, and I thought, oh, let's get another F1 game. So of course, typing that in, I then, that's not typing it in. Typing it in here, and of course I looked at the games. I looked down 2019. That was of course the next best one after 2020. That's $24.99. I can't afford that. Then there's 2018, $17.99. I was like, okay. And then I looked at 2017, and it just clocked. Why not do F1 2017? The cars were weird looking because it was the first time we had those big, extra chunky tires, and also it was the last time before we had the halo, so it could be a very good turning point for the season. And of course, it had very positive likes. 87% of people reviewed it. That's something that really drew my attention.
So, basically, we're going to launch in here with this brand new menu. We're going to pick a team now. We've got this all set. We are going to start with Toro Rosso. I know, it's a weird team to start with, but yeah. Look at the McLaren down in the bottom left. That is just an unusual thing to see. We want Carlos Sainz. We want Carlos Sainz as our teammate. We're going to be Mr. Steal Your Girl here, just like Max Verstappen did. Now, of course, setting up this career mode, we're going to do short qualifying, 50% race, 100% AI, because I don't know how the AI works on here, because it's very different to, of course, the games that we used before. Now, flashbacks will be off, park fairway will be on, vehicle damage on full, safety car is on, corner cutting on normal, formation lap is on, race starts is manual. Now, assist, I'm only going to have the dynamic racing line on because, of course, I do not know the like entire thing as such. I would love to turn it off, but unless you want videos coming out every single month of the year, I doubt that will be coming out. We'll have that off too soon. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into the career mode. So here we are, starting off round one here in Melbourne, actually, which is kind of unusual for normal career modes, because of course you normally don't start in Melbourne anymore. You start in Bahrain, especially for the 2020. Well, 2020, the game, you start in Australia, but the actual thing started in... It's very weird, but we're no longer starting in Melbourne, nor is this season. Here we go, we got a cutscene.
Yes, and I respect that. But my client has a championship to contest. So if you want our participation, I'm afraid the concessions are mandatory. Yes, that's fine. Get back to me when you can. Goodbye. No one ever just signs the contract. Anyway, thanks for coming by on such short notice. I just needed to cover a couple of quick things with you before you race. Firstly, as requested, there's a copy of your contract. It's a rolling deal. However, the team reserves right of termination if you fail to meet performance standards. You're second driver for now, but work hard, hit your targets, and I'll be able to sweeten the deal. I'm also looking to get you into some invitational events throughout the season. The experience and exposure from these will be great for your image. Plus, you'll get to drive some nice historic cars. Now then, go get ready for the next session, and good luck.
Let's get straight into it then. Let's get into practice one here. I'll probably, in future episodes, I'll skip out most of practice one and practice two. The good old intro here. Very nice.
Welcome to Melbourne, where the practice session is about to start for this weekend's Australian Grand Prix. The pre-race talking is over. Now it's time for the drivers to show their worth.
There's actually commentary for the practice session.
Welcome once again to the man standing beside me in the commentary box for this session, Anthony Davidson. Hello, Ant. Excited to get underway?
Yeah, absolutely. I always look forward to seeing the cars get out there on track. They probably won't be on the limit immediately, of course. We know that one or two of the teams are looking to do some work on new aerodynamic packages, so that always takes some time to get into. But it'll be really interesting to see later on in the session what kind of performance gains are there to be found.
So practice one here didn't go too well. We ended up bidding it into the wall after, of course, hitting the track acclimatization out on track. We didn't do well there. We just ended up losing it on the rear as I geared up, and we went into the barrier. We were then, of course, faced with another cutscene where it's introducing us to the R&D screen.
Because that's what's causing the car to rotate so weirdly. Better not be in trouble. Oh no, we're just sitting down. Oh.
Ah, you got my message. Perfect. Welcome to home away from home. We get more real-time data from the factory now than ever before, and it all comes through here. So I have to spend more time checking over the reports and less time hunting you down in the hospitality suite. To that end, sorry, just a sec. Yeah, Chris, is this important? I'm in the middle of something. Okay. Right. Well, that makes no sense. Have Sarah reset the simulation and run it again. Okay. Sorry about that. As I was saying, we've set up a desk for you at the front here. You can get onto the network from your laptop, so make sure to check the R&D screen regularly. And let us know how you want to use the data that we've collected over the weekend and through the practice programs. Also, bear in mind that the news from the factory won't always be good. Sometimes tests fail, like you've seen just now. And when that happens, we have to divert additional resources to fix it. C'est la vie, I'm afraid.
Okay. So I guess this is our new base, I guess.
Practice 2 was mostly just going in and trying to figure out how to control the slip. Now, in the F1 2017 game, you cannot rapidly gear down. That's what I've discovered so far by just doing it. Of course, I came in with no assist and there's no tutorials out there. But basically, what you need to do is slower gear downs actually allow your engine to brake before you start turning in. Because if you then gear down while you're turning, or you're not slow enough and you're the high revs, it will spin you out. And of course, that, especially with the tyre program, that was something that you do not want, because it of course reduces the tyres quite a lot. It also loses you a lot of lap time, so to bear in mind with that in practice 2. But as we go through practice 2, we managed to of course pick up on that. We managed to develop ourselves. We learned that that's how we need to go around, and of course we then start doing the race strategy and the qualifying pace. Of course, still trying to adapt, because it is quite a complicated thing, because of course my driving style in the other games is rapid gear downs, make sure I am slow enough, then get the car sent in. But following this game, of course, it's a bit more realistic, which is what I like. It's a lot more, you actually feel the car more than what the 2020 and 21 game, which is more of an arcade type of simulation, rather than this, which is of course full realism. If you lock up a tyre, you lock up the tyre that is, like, of course, the one that you're turning, or the one that should be locking up, not both of them locking up at the same time and you're having to go straight on.
Guess who made the gossip columns this morning? Everyone's talking about this new rival you have. Check his stats out.
Hi, just letting you know that we've
She's
had
up there, no.
expectations through for the upcoming qualifying session.
Wow. Wish that was actually a way that like, this needs to be back reincorporated into the actual 2017 or the 2022 game, because it just makes you feel like you're more actually a driver rather than a team owner, which is like some of the benefits of actually.
After a little bit of R&D work, it was now time to get into qualifying.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. Looking at this field today, Ants, do you think we're going to see anyone take a chance? Maybe run the harder of the available compounds and save some of the grippy tyres for the race tomorrow?
Well, I'd be surprised in all honesty. It's only the front runners that really have the pace to get away with that. And even then, at the end of the day, it's a big risk. Track position is the most important thing, and it's rarely worth sacrificing for a slightly more optimal strategy in the race, so I doubt we're going to see anyone trying it. I have been wrong before though. We certainly do see some risky decisions every now and then, and it's a gamble that's sometimes worth taking. But if it were me in the car, I would want to be on the fastest tyre for my qualifying lap, without a doubt.
So for qualifying, I ran quite a lot of time on the first runs. So of course I used the Ultra Soft because there's a different range here. There is the Hyper Softs, Ultra Soft, Super Softs, Softs, and then mediums, and I think hards, and then there's some other one after hards. There's a long range of tyres. For Melbourne, we were giving the Ultra Softs, Super Softs, and Softs. So of course you've got the only one that's new in this sequence here is of course that Ultra Soft. The other two, you've got the Soft, which is of course normally the soft tyre, and then you've got the Super Soft is normally the soft tyre, and then the soft tyre is normally the medium. So it is a bit different, but of course for this, the Ultra Soft is the soft, Super Soft is the medium, and of course then the soft is the hard. But they're just different coordinated for the 2017 season. But we go into the first runs, we have a lot of fuel in. Of course, we tried to get a good lap time. We only just about managed to get faster than, as I go high pitch, go faster than Stoffel van Dorn in the McLaren. So it's not too good, especially with our target of 13. We end up coming P16 and go on to our second run, where I start to actually trail brake the most. This was probably one of my best laps in both 2021 and 2017. To be honest, just the way I beautifully trail brake the car. I've never done that so beautifully for myself. There was a couple of other mistakes in there, but the way I trail brake the car and set as much speed as possible, I was just baffled as soon as I completed the lap that I managed to, of course, do that. So, but it did get us a good qualifying. I think we came P11, and of course that was a good position to start off on the race.
The grid is all set then for the race tomorrow. But before we go, let's quickly remind ourselves of our top three, who are Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow, where we'll be live. It's out with the old and in with the new here at Albert Park as we usher in what we hope will be a triumphant new era of Formula One racing. For our drivers, though, it's very much business as usual as they look to be first across that line and get their championship off to a winning start. We go racing today then in the state of Victoria, where the drivers have 16 corners and 3.3 miles to navigate at an average lap speed of around 120 miles an hour. The close proximity of the barriers makes accidents inevitable, and recent history shows us that a safety car is not at all out of the question. Today's race, of course, not simply the start of a new season, but the start of a new kind of Formula One. Anthony Davidson, great to have you with us once again. This is a big moment for the sport. Big changes to the technical regulations, the potential perhaps to give us the biggest shake-up since 2014. Very different cars visually and, fingers crossed, much faster as well.
Good thing then that combined these teams put in just a shade over 13,000 kilometres on the clock during testing. The cornering speed of these new machines is absolutely unbelievable. How many lap records are still held by Michael Schumacher from 2004? Well, on the right day, on the right tyres, we might just be threatening them this year. Wider tyres, wider cars, more downforce. I have to say they look great, and the qualifying spectacle is undebatable. Now the big question remains, can they follow? Can they race? Or have these new rules gone too far?
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Max Verstappen, and Grosjean, Perez, Ocon, Massa, and Toro Rosso, Hulkenberg, Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, and Alonso, Magnussen, Stroll, Stoffel Van Dorn, and Jolyon Palmer, Ericsson, and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So, of course, going into here, we were, of course, qualified officially into P11, but due to Lewis Hamilton getting a grid penalty, he ended up going into P10. So this kind of puts us in a higher position by 1 place, so it's not too much. But, of course, just simply going to be going for the alternate strategy here. So most drivers will be going for the ultra soft to super soft. We're going to be going super soft to ultra soft, just giving us a bit more time. And also, at the end, we will be rapid, or we should be rapid, in theory. But of course, depending on that will depend on how well we manage to manage these tyres. So of course, we jumped Massa here on the start. I didn't mean to, so I just go ahead and let him get this place back. It's just a simple, just back off a little bit so he can go ahead and just overtake us. But of course, this is the formation lap, just like anyone else. We'll warm up the tyres and hope we'll be able to get there. Overall, we did have a good start, of course. I thought we were going to have a bit of damage after Massa hit us in the back there going into turn 1. But we didn't. We're just on the back of Grosjean once again. We're going to be pretty much trailing Grosjean for a couple of laps here now. Because we're just going to be stuck right behind him. Now, going into lap 2, this is something that's going to be becoming apparent throughout the rest of the race. Grosjean, of course, had a bit of a moment there into turn 4, I believe. No, it's not turn 4. Turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe it's turn 6. Grosjean had a bit of a moment going into there, and so of course we got on to the right back of him. Of course, we then had a bit of a moment ourselves going into just before the next straight, or the curve straight before the fast left right. And of course that just lost us so much time to Grosjean, but we managed to catch it back because he's currently fighting ahead with another driver. So of course that we're just managing to stay right behind Grosjean here. But then we do have, of course, Massa right behind us, just constantly trying to get at us every time we do make a mistake, and that's of course really putting us under pressure, really going through to the lap 3 and so on, because of course that pressure just doesn't help out at all. Now so far Lewis Hamilton is just behind Massa, so of course me holding up Massa kind of holds up Lewis Hamilton at the same time, which is kind of a good idea. So keeping Massa just behind us, even though it does add pressure to us, Lewis Hamilton being behind of course is so much better because we won't be having to fight with Lewis as such. Now going into lap 6, of course we're going into this corner here, still behind Grosjean. Now, we have a bit of a moment, I believe, or is it the next corner? I think it's the next corner. We have a bit of a moment, which causes Massa to go straight right behind us. I think we have a bit of a lock-up here. Yeah, we lock up here, both wheels, due to, of course, the nature of me turning. It wasn't too sharp. But, of course, that really does bring Massa right behind us here. We've got to have about 3 cars now going to be fighting for the position. They're going to go side by side into it. I'm going to give Massa a bit of space to get his nose down into the inside. I have to come across here, but of course that puts Massa straight under pressure now. I was just checking my tyre temperatures after that lockup just to make sure, but of course it's really putting Massa under pressure now from the other drivers. Me doing now, of course we lost so much time to Grosjean. We're not going to get DRS down the next straight. Massa is now under pressure from Lewis Hamilton and Esteban Ocon behind us. You can just see in the rear mirrors that they are about side by side here going through the final corner. Hamilton gets ahead of Massa, plus he's going to have DRS now down this main straight, so he's going to get such an advantage against Massa going down. And of course Ocon losing out, or no, Ocon gaining a position here on Hamilton, on Massa, also gives a bit. Hamilton's cleared Massa by quite a bit. Of course Ocon getting ahead, so it's now just Ocon right behind Hamilton. Grosjean's far off into the distance after that lockup, really ruined us there. So of course just that lockup really changed the order of the racing due to Massa having to back off. He had less power, and of course Hamilton managing to just get in the slipstream and be constant. We have another bit of a lockup here going through. Of course we've now got Hamilton right behind us. He's a Mercedes. We go onto the grass, just feeling the pressure here. Of course we lock up once again, just allowing Hamilton to get right past us, and that's it. He's off in the distance. We never challenge him again. But yeah, that corner 2 times in a row, of course, was a nightmare. But of course we got Ocon once again right behind us now, with all the cars there just coming together, having a bit of a fight. There was like 3 rows of cars side by side, and they're still going to be side by side here going down where there's not DRS in this Gears game, or in F1 2017. There is no DRS down that second part after the fast left right. So of course that all the advantage comes from actually having the speed through the corner rather than using DRS. But of course now going on to the main straight where there is DRS, of course the drivers behind, such as Ocon, he's going to have such an advantage against, because he's got DRS. But of course we have such a better exit from that corner that of course we managed to exit away from there. Raikkonen's out of the pit lane ahead. We're trying to challenge for that position, so I'm trying to catch up. Of course we have such high tyre wear now on our tyres that it's going to be quite hard. So 25%, but of course Raikkonen putting on the ultra softs, that is so much extra grip for him. Ocon will be on high tyre wear now, so of course us getting away from there, it's really beneficial really to try and get away from where we are. So now coming in here, of course, we have Raikkonen ahead. He's off in the distance. So, of course, going down this straight, we still have Ocon just behind us. This is lap 8 now, going on to lap 9. And, of course, Vettel's currently in the pits. He's going to be exiting the pits just in front of us here. We're, of course, going to be trying to hunt down his position. Of course, he's on the Ultra Softs, a brand new Ultra Softs. We're on 28% used softs now. So, of course, Super Softs, I should say. Keep getting confused with the tyres here. Is going to be confused. I'm going to be looking down the inside there. We won't be able to outbrake him. Of course, he having more grip with that Santander 2017 Ferrari livery, which was a beautiful livery, to be honest. People just don't remember it as such. But of course, now we're going to be trying to make our way, keep right behind him to try and get DRS down the main straight and the second straight. Because of course, DRS carries over between them two, just like 2021. If you have DRS down the first straight, you bet down the second straight, but the third straight, or the third DRS place in 2021, of course that comes at a different detection zone. But of course here we're just going to be still trying to keep up. We won't be able to because we've got such used tyres. I ended up taking that cone out not too long ago. But of course, continuing here, we're going to be hoping to get a bit more, so a bit more positions, I would say. We're currently P6. There's 2 cars ahead that have just gone in the pits now. I believe that was Daniel Ricciardo and not Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is still ahead. I think it was Daniel Ricciardo. I don't know who else just went in the pits and they were ahead. I think it was Grosjean went into the pits there ahead of us. So of course we're going to be passing. Oh no, it was Hamilton and Verstappen. Hamilton and Verstappen both pitted. Not what I said. So ignore those. But we've still got Daniel Ricciardo currently in P1. Then Kimi Raikkonen's in P2 currently, with Vettel in P3, and of course us in P4. So we've got a couple of drivers ahead. 2 of them have pitted. We're just waiting for Daniel Ricciardo here. So of course we're going to be going around this lap. Still got Ocon not too far behind us, I would say. He's a bit of a distance, but he's not too far behind us. So of course it's all about us trying to get this position now. We're going to be keep on going until, of course, we get this. So we come out now towards where Ricardo's just behind us, so we skip ahead of it. But Ricardo went in the pits, so of course now we're up to P4. Of course, or we'll stay in P4 somehow. Don't know how that happened, but of course Ricardo's just behind us now, and we're going to be trying to go along here. We're going to be fighting with Ricardo for a couple of laps here now, just because. Why not? I felt like I was fighting for track position here, so of course, even though I was in a Red Bull Junior team, we never got team orders to let Ricardo through, so we're going to be fighting him. He's going to have a great slipstream effect down this mini straight here. We're going to let him go by, but of course, we're going to then try and go for the switch back here down the next straight, because of course, he had to go a bit deep, which didn't allow him to carry as much speed through the corner. We're going to be braking just about enough. We're going to still be having our front wing in the corner, so we were allowed to make that overtake there perfectly safe, and he had to give us the space due to, of course, having that front wing just beside him. So yeah, and of course the AI do that anyway. They just back out, especially in this game. That's what I noticed, they actually do back out if it's going to cause a collision, whereas of course the other games, most of them just stay where they are or even cause the collisions themselves. But of course, we're going to be fighting here. Ricardo has a little bump on our back there. We left him plenty of room on the inside and on outside, but he just decides to go right into the back of us. So, of course, he's, of course, going to have a bit of I don't think he had any damage from that, though. But, of course, I think it was Hamilton went through during that time of we getting into P4. I think Hamilton overtook us and then, of course, catched up to Vettel within, like, I don't even know how quick he caught up to Vettel, but he did. He was just rapid. But of course, Jeff telling us we have a faster engine modes, but of course, we're going to be trying to save as much fuel as we do have a couple more laps still left to go before we pit. And then it will be even more laps after we pit on the ultra soft tyres. So of course, Ricardo once again getting a good slipstream down here. He's going to be looking to go not even round us this time. He's not even going to be trying it, but of course he's going to have a better effect here, and he's going to be using the slipstream now to try and catch up to us. Does he look down the outside? He does look down the outside. He's going to try it, but he's not going to be able to keep it, and of course we do just give him a little bit of a nudge there off the giving him still room on that curb and having a track. So we give him plenty of room here. I brake a little bit early just to allow me to get the car slowed down and get a better exit here, but of course I don't get a better exit. I get a really bad exit. That puts us under pressure once again from Ricardo. He's not going to be held up this time. He's going to be breezing past us down this straight, because we still got our wheel down the inside, so we can fire. We lock up, have a bit of a contact, but there was still enough room for him to stay around the outside. But of course, he just backs out there. But we still hold on to this position. We are not giving it up. And of course, I just check how long until this pit stop, because we are on 42% tyre wear. It's lap 13. I think we pit on lap 15 or lap 17. I think Jeff just said it was 4 more laps remaining until our pit stop. So of course, we are fighting here for the position on used soft tyres. So used medium tyres, I should say, because they are medium tyres practically here. So of course, we're going to be fighting now. Ricardo's still behind. He's now under pressure from Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. So this is, of course, back when they were teammates. The good old, the duo, I would say, until, of course, Azerbaijan in 2018. The downfall of them two. But Ricardo's way too far behind now to be able to try and make any sort of move. I believe he is going to be able to get a good exit out of the final corner, because we get another bad exit. Of course, Ricardo once again right behind us due to us not being able to carry much speed due to our grip levels very low now. Now, once again, we get a very bad exit. Touched the wall there. We're lucky we didn't get damaged. If that was the 2021 game, we would get damaged. But, of course, the damage model isn't. Of course, you can see me going into the front wing to check, just because, of course, Jeff doesn't be able to say any much. But, of course, we get a bit of contact there with Daniel Ricciardo, and that's it. Daniel has managed to pass us. I'm surprised we didn't go flying. If that was the real F1, we would have gone flying there. We would have ended up like Hulkenberg and being upside down. But of course, now we got us and Max Verstappen. Max is going to be easily passing us there on the actual soft tyres now, or the hard tyres for this racetrack. And of course, that's it. The 2 Red Bulls have finally managed to pass. Verstappen took no time whatsoever due to us, of course, having a slower second straight when he was behind. And of course, that was that. Now coming up to a couple of laps later, it's time for us to pit. As you just heard Jeff, we are going to be pitting this lap. So lap 17, we pit off the medium tyre compound here to onto the soft tyres compound. Basically super soft to ultra soft if you want to go the actual tyres here. But of course I'm trying to make sense to people who haven't really learned about these tyre compounds yet. But they're definitely very interesting into how they work. So of course, going in here now, we're going to be going into the pits. We're going to take it nice and steady. We got Grosjean just behind us on the ultra softs here. I think he's pitting as well. So of course, Grosjean's going to stay behind us. So we managed to jump him actually from earlier, which is a very good sight to see. So of course, now going on to the ultra softs here. We're getting a nice pit stop of about 2.6. It's not good pit stop, but for the time it is good. It's quick. So of course, now getting on the accelerator, we have Hulkenberg and Ocon go through with Van Dorn just behind us. We're going to be trying to stay up to, of course, the two in front of us, trying to get that position. So of course, Van Dorn right behind us. We're going to be trying to push now, but of course, coming up to Ocon later on in that lap, it's going to be quite easy. He's going to be on slower compound here. He's on the hardest compound of the weekend here. So of course, us on the softest and the freshest. It's going to be very easy to go through like so and just take that position. So no, not being held up too much there. But of course, next up ahead of us is Hulkenberg. Of course, going down the main straight, we're going to be trying to catch up to him. The DRS from Ocon ain't going to bother us. But going on to the next lap now, we're going to be, this is the only opportunity we get close to him again. Of course, through the first sector, we don't really do much. I think we had a bit of an incident, a bit of a lockup, which caused us to lose a bit of time. But we go through now, and there is a safety car on lap 19, and Valtteri Bottas had to retire from the race. So of course, Hulkenberg goes into the pits. He's on the ultra softs. He's on very used ultra softs, in fact. So he's going into the pits, getting a free pit stop. But funny enough, this safety car lasts until about lap 23. So there was 3 laps behind the safety car now, which is very good. Of course, Hulkenberg got a great timing on that safety car there. But of course, lap 23 is when we are going racing here now. So of course, straight away, pretty much, we go racing. They do not care. They are off. We get caught up by that. We don't get good exit out of the corner. And of course, they're off. They're even in faster cars. So of course, we don't get a good slipstream or power down that main straight. But currently we're in P5 now behind Hamilton. We've got Ocon just behind. So we're going to be trying to go through. Hamilton and Max Verstappen are now fighting in just ahead of us, of course, for that 3rd position. So this is a very crucial now for the race here now. So of course, we've seen these two fight throughout the 2021 season, and we're seeing them fight back in 2017 now. Through the streets of Melbourne here. So of course, hopefully we get to see that this year, them two fighting together once again in the new cars. So of course, we're going through now, and we just see them ahead, just squabbling it out. Max taking the inside line there, leaving not a lot of room there for Hamilton, but they're still side by side going into this next corner. Hamilton manages to get ahead, and well, no, they're still side by side, but Hamilton down the inside, Max on the outside. Doesn't get enough grip. Hamilton manages to overtake by the fresher tyres. We're trying to catch up onto that now. Kimi Räikkönen gets the fastest lap. We're trying to get onto the back of Max Verstappen now, hoping to get a good attack here, but of course we don't, and we end up losing to him, as you can see here. So of course, going through now, there's a virtual safety car coming out because Daniel Ricciardo had to retire out of the race. But this is where it all goes to the bin. That entire performance. I get a bit of sidetracked. I took the time to take a bit of time to unwind, adjust my chair and bit stuff. But in this game, if you go too slow, the AI just overtake you. And you can't re-overtake them, or it classes an illegal overtake. So both Magnussen and Grosjean managed to overtake me under the virtual safety car by just going through me. So, of course, after we go racing, I'm straight back on Grosjean, charging at him. We've only got 2 laps remaining, 3 laps remaining, I should say, because this is only the start of the lap. So, we're still side by side by Grosjean. We managed to, of course, get a good exit here. And we take the inside of that corner, and he backs out. He doesn't want to fight that. So, of course, keeping that in mind, we then go through. We've just got Magnussen ahead to really try and overtake him for that P5 position. So, of course, we're going to be charging so much. We've got about 0.10 of fuel remaining here. Or 0.20 of fuel remaining here going on to the final lap. So, we got quite a bit to use. But, of course, we're going to have to keep a good eye on that because, of course, now we're down to 0.15 of fuel. There is no ERS, so, of course, that's the only thing we have now to be able to charge at Magnussen. We're going to be looking down the outside. We don't manage to go down the outside. He manages to just leave a little bit of room, but I'm not going to risk it. So, of course, then we look down this next straight. We try and use as much as possible full beans. We didn't get a good exit, so we don't manage to keep up with Magnussen. And, of course, we're still following behind a Haas. And it's so weird to see these Hasses up in the front of the field fighting right now for the P5 and P6 currently. So, of course, we go through now. Magnussen goes a bit slow through that corner, but we don't get good acceleration. We're on very ultra softs here due to the fact of the safety car. We had to use quite a lot of it just to catch up. We have a bit of contact there with Magnussen trying to brake, so we don't manage to get a good exit here. But, of course, now we got Grosjean right behind us. We put on rich fuel. Now this is going to be becoming crucial because I don't think I turned this off. So, of course, we go through. We haven't got much fuel left. We've got about 0.6 fuel remaining. We get a very bad exit there. We've got, of course, keep an eye on that fuel. 0.4 fuel here now. Going through. Still got Grosjean to the side of us. Trying to, I don't know. We have a bit of a moment which kind of helps us out a bit. Keeping Grosjean behind. Magnussen's too far away. We're not going to be able to catch up to him before the end of the race. Of course, Grosjean, we just got to fight for this P6 position now. And, of course, I have not turned fuel off. So we're going to come down this next straight. Very low on fuel now. And I don't notice this. But, of course, we do that. And then we go on to lead. And I go to the side because I thought Grosjean was going to the right. Because he pulled off to the right. And so I go to the left. We have a bit of incident and he just pushes me across the line. And I guess that's going to go straight to the stewards room there for that controversial. But it looks as though Grosjean was going to go to the right. Due to there's not enough room on the left anyway. So I thought he was going to pull to the right there. Because, of course, it looked like it was. And so, of course, going to the left. It ruined that chance. But, of course, a P6 finish there. Which was a great result, really. So, from P10 to P6, that was a very good result for me, indeed.
Completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands.
So, of course, Raikkonen finished the race in P1, Vettel P2, Lewis in P3. I came P6, Carlos Sainz came P10, so, of course, we managed to beat our teammate there. He got the fastest lap, though, so, of course, that's a bit of a reduce here. But, of course, enjoy this moment of Raikkonen on the front, top step for Ferrari once again. Just look at that, man. So, of course, now we're going on to, of course, the team approval. As you can see, of course, looking at the reputation of the teams, we've got quite a bit down by Red Bull due to, of course, us challenging them for that P1 position. Didn't really help us. But, of course, we get an introduction to the career score and how it affects, basically, how you can brag to your friends about your career. But I don't think we'll really look into this as much as we should. But, of course, next up is a cutscene.
Indeed it is. And this is Jonathan. He's going to let you drive some of his cars.
Well, not quite my cars, per se. It's a mere detail. You know, I'd really rather be down there racing them myself, to be honest. I'm actually quite handy behind the wheel, but it's the downforce, those lateral Gs, you know? The old neck can't really handle it. So I need a pro. And that's where you come in. We run in a bunch of events throughout the year. Time trials, races, all sorts. And I have it on good authority that you have the ability and temperament to do well in these. Make our business look good and, most importantly, bring the cars back in one piece. So consider this a formal invitation. I'll see you at the track.
Now,
So, of course, what a way to finish your first race by the invitational event of the Williams here. The one that Jack Villeneuve won his World Championship with. So of course we're gonna go through the remaining part of this, where this challenge is just to overtake as many drivers as possible. I do have to end up using a flashback just because of course I end up having a weird spin, because of course this one was allowing it. So of course coming into the final 17 seconds here, we've got one more left to go, one more overtake, and of course we won't be able to do this. I've literally gotten perfect every single corner to the max amount you can for the grip. So of course what we do is we send it down the inside, having a bit of lockup, managing to get that final 12th one, and we complete the challenge just like that. So yeah, beautiful stuff there, beautiful. It was a fun to drive that car, to be honest. Of course that's what we're missing out in the 2021 game, the heritage cars. So that was very fun to drive. But of course we now go on to China, the career practice one here. And yeah, that's the end of this episode. So thank you guys for watching. Of course I hope you have a good time, and I'll see you next week for the Chinese Grand Prix of the 2017 career mode.